Hashtag BLM kidnapping is not real. Hashtag BLM kidnapping is about as real as hashtag Pizzagate, as hashtag All Lives Matter. The presidency of Trump, the election of Trump via Twitter, is a product of hashtag rumor culture. Hashtags now control media narratives, push media narratives through our primary means of public debate. So somebody floats hashtag BLM kidnapping, and then each person that the hashtag touches on sort of adds their own vibe. Oh, hashtag spirit cooking was also a crock of shit. That was another really specious right-wing paranoia hashtag that really permeated and created these reactionary hashtags become identities. They become movements unto themselves. Hashtag Gamergate is its own political movement. Hashtag Pizzagate, hashtag All Lives, and you could even say hashtag BLM. You know, in a sense, is a political movement that is just the crest of that political movement is a hashtag. So, as we try to find information within the fog, the splatter of hysteria and disinformation on Twitter, everyone retreats into their little corner of the platform. So first the hashtag is floated, then it's claimed, and once it's claimed, it is polarized, and once it's been polarized, it becomes a blunt weapon for the political extremities to bash each other over the head with. So with all this talk about fake news, don't sweat the I've always in the last few years, now more than ever, don't sweat vestigial news sources. Don't sweat newspapers and local news and cable news. All those mediums are dead. Those mediums are dead. Now those mediums form their narratives online. Those mediums are fed by Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you name it. And that makes it even worse. That makes it even worse. Because at least when the Associated Press and Reuters and other sort of the mainstream media, for all of its shortcomings, the strength of the mainstream media was at least they started from neutral sources. They started from basics information and facts. 4 dead in San Francisco fire. 100 injured in plane crash. That doesn't happen anymore. By the time the mainstream press receives these stories, you now have them completely spun and painted and twisted by whoever screamed the loudest on the internet. And usually it's not the people who are interested in the facts. Usually the people who scream the loudest on the internet are people who need the facts to validate their beliefs. So the BLM kidnapping hashtag is about validating a narrative of intrinsic black savagery, meaning to say that the conspiracy theory, this is fucking hilarious. This is only a deeply cynical or highly biased individual could look at this stuff and go, you know what the media is not covering? When black people commit crimes. I have been alive for going on 36 years, and I guess I could count remembering the news for the last 30 years, and the one thing that has been very heavily covered, perhaps overly so, is when black people commit crimes, especially against white people. When black people commit crimes against black people, it is described in neutral terms. 4 killed at house party. Not 4 blacks killed by blacks. When a black person kills a white person, the news loses their fucking mind. And not to say that when a black person harms a white person that it should be minimized. But I mean, all you need to look at was the hysteria over the Central Park 5 in the 1980s to see what happens when the media immediately jumps to the conclusion that a attack on a white person was racially motivated. It automatically gets the benefit of the doubt. Our incoming president of the United States still won't let it go. The Central Park 5 have been exonerated. That was the black on white crime of my youth that the mainstream media ran wild with. And what I'm seeing on Twitter is the usual suspects: Paul Joseph Watson, Blair White, the people from Rebel Media, Lauren Southern, Gavin McInnes. You don't even fucking live in America. I don't know why Rebel Media is so obsessed with what's going on in America. Okay? Pay attention to hockey. Stop fucking with our news stories. Drudge was the first one to sort of hype this as these people were hunting Trump supporters. These gang members went out hunting for Trump. But if it had been a black man with autism being tortured, kidnapped, and assaulted by 3 white boys who said, "Hail Trump," Richard Spencer and Matt Drudge and Fox News would have gone, "These are just kids out for a good time." It went too far. But when they said, "Hail Trump," it was just a meme. It's just a meme, bro. The alt-right's just fucking around. But because it's 3 potentially gang-related black perpetrators who streamed this atrocious act online on Facebook. And one of these assholes, these sociopaths, said to this poor, vulnerable man, while they were terrorizing him with a knife, made a cruel joke about something about tell him to say fuck Trump. The right-wing media seizes on this man's victimhood and exploits it and goes, look, we told you all along that the savage blacks were hunting Trump voters down in the street. This is the first ripple in the pond. This is the beginning of the Black Lives Matters radical revolution. And you need to go to your local gun shop today, and you need to buy 2 automatic weapons and 2 handguns and 3 shotguns and 1 rocket propelled grenade launcher, and you need to buy a bunker, and you need to pay your dues to the NRA, and you need to subscribe to Alex Jones' newsletter and every other single fucking thing that they have been exploiting paranoia as regards to black violence upon white civilians for decades upon decades upon decades. People came to me when this story first popped up and said, Bronx, I hope you condemn this. Not just one person, multiple people came up to me with something to that effect of, Bronx, I hope you don't let these guys off the hook. And contrary to what may have played out in the last few days with the narrative that Jeff Holiday has constructed of me, I am actually militantly in support of Black Lives Matters. I've been called a black supremacist by several people within the skeptic movement because of my support, my unfaltering support for Black Lives Matter. So the BLM kidnapping is an opportunity for one group of cruel bastards to make hay, to build their brand and enrich their narrative off of the backs of other cruel, savage bastards who did a bad thing. And if they did it because he was if they did it because he was white, it was wrong. And if they did it because he supported Trump, it was wrong. And if they did it because he was mentally handicapped, it was wrong. But it doesn't give credence to a narrative that black on white violence is as pervasive and currently as much of an existential threat to the community at large as white on black violence. And we're not just talking about crime statistics, we're talking about, police shootings, we're talking about mass incarcerations. I mean, if you want to talk about Chicago, there have been revelations in the last year about thousands of people being disappeared in Chicago in hidden police headquarters and interrogation facilities. So that's the difference, and that's the problem. Take a moment, take a deep breath, acknowledge the horror, acknowledge the tragedy of what's happened here, but please take a moment, step back, and consider how very isolated this incident is. This is not the beginning of a race war. This is a mugging and kidnapping, a tragic local crime that needs to be addressed by local law enforcement and be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.